Have you guys ever noticed how people will try to place you inside a box they created in their own mind? They decide who you are, what you can do, who you can date, what you're capable of, and where your limits should be, all based on the version of you that makes them comfortable. They label you, shrink you, and expect you to stay exactly where they imagined you belong. And honestly, to that I say, absolutely not. I mean, let's be honest, Schrodinger. I am not going to get inside your damn box. Some people say they want you to be happy, right up until your happiness stops fitting the version of you they are comfortable with. They tell you to reach out if you need help, then vanish the moment you actually do. They say they support you, but when you grow, heal, succeed, move forward, or become stronger, suddenly your progress becomes a problem. And then, with a completely straight face, they ask why you are so independent, as if they were not part of the training program. Hyperindependence does not usually appear out of nowhere. People do not wake up one morning and decide, you know what sounds fun? Carrying everything alone forever. No, that mindset is usually built through repetition. You asked for help, and nobody answered. You needed someone, and they were suddenly unavailable. You trusted people who promised support, only to discover that "I've got your back" apparently came with invisible terms and conditions. After enough disappointment, you stop reaching out. You stop waiting. You stop expecting. You learn how to fix the problem, find the answer, do the research, and you just handle it yourself. Psychologically, hyperindependence is often a protective response. When someone repeatedly experiences unreliable support, emotional neglect, broken promises, or inconsistent care, the brain begins to associate needing people with risk. The nervous system learns a hard lesson. Asking for help can lead to disappointment, embarrassment, rejection, or abandonment. So, the person adapts. They become resourceful. They become observant. They become capable. They become the one who figures it out because waiting on someone else has proven to be a terrible business model. This does not mean hyperindependence is always painless. It can be exhausting to feel like you have to be your own rescuer, mechanic, therapist, researcher, motivator, emergency contact, and entire support system. But it also shows strength. It shows that somewhere along the way, instead of collapsing under disappointment, you adapted. You became the person who could learn how to take care of the emergency, solve the problem, rebuild the plan, and keep moving. That is not weakness. That is survival with tools in its hand. One of the most frustrating parts of this experience is realizing that some people offer support because it is socially comfortable, not because they actually intend to show up. Let me know if you need anything. It can become one of those phrases people toss into the air like emotional confetti. It sounds nice. It looks supportive. It lets them feel like they did their part. But when the phone rings, when the message comes through, when help is actually needed, suddenly they are nowhere to be found. These are the people who like the image of being supportive more than the work of actually being supportive. They want credit for the promise without the inconvenience of the follow-through. But on the flip side, there are people like you who genuinely mean it when they say they will be there. Remember that you do exist, and you are precious. You are the ones who answer, show up, drive across town, check in, and prove to those around you that support is not just a performance. Another part of this topic is the way people create a fixed version of you in their minds. They meet you at one stage of life, or worse, they observe you from a distance for 5 minutes, then decide they know exactly who you are. They do not know your history, your pain, your work ethic, or the battles you've survived. Hell, they don't even know your favorite color. But somehow, with the confidence of an unpaid expert, they build a whole narrative about you and expect you to stay inside it. Psychologically, this can come from control, insecurity, projection, or social comparison. Some people are comfortable with you only when you are predictable. They like you when you are struggling, single, quiet, available, dependent, or easy to define. But when you step outside that box by becoming happier, healthier, more confident, more successful, or more independent, it threatens the story they created about both you and themselves. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. And instead of dealing with that privately like an adult, they try to make your progress the problem. It is especially confusing when people encourage you to move forward, then resent you when you actually do. They tell you to date, then get uncomfortable when you're happy with someone. They tell you to go after the job, then act betrayed when you get it. They tell you to grow, then complain that you changed. At some point, you realize they did not want you to become free. They wanted you to become slightly better, while still remaining accessible, familiar, and beneath whatever invisible ceiling they assigned you. Jealousy does not always look like obvious rage. Sometimes it looks like criticism disguised as concern. Sometimes it looks like silence when you share good news. Sometimes it looks like people suddenly questioning the very thing they once encouraged. Sometimes it looks like friends trying to dismantle a relationship, minimize an accomplishment, or make you feel guilty for outgrowing a version of yourself that was easier for them to manage. Not everyone clapping is happy for you. Some people are just making noise until they can figure out how to interrupt the show. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an independent person. Knowing how to figure things out is a skill. Being able to solve problems, learn new tasks, manage your life, and keep going when nobody shows up is powerful. It may have come from painful experiences, but that does not make the strength less real. Your independence is not something to be ashamed of. It is proof that you adapted, learned, and refused to stay helpless in a world that kept testing whether you would. Still, there is a balance worth remembering. Independence should protect you, not imprison you. It is healthy to be capable, but it is also okay to receive support from people who have earned trust through consistent action. The goal is not to become cold or closed off. The goal is to become selective. Let people prove they are safe before giving them access to your vulnerable places. Let consistency matter more than words. Let actions be the proof. Sometimes protecting your happiness means keeping it private until it is strong enough to survive other people's opinions. Not every dream needs an audience. Not every relationship needs a committee. Not every goal needs to be announced before it is built. Some people cannot destroy what they do not know about. And there is power in moving quietly while you create something better for yourself. People may try to tear down what they do not believe they can achieve, but their lack of drive is not your limit. Their fear is not your boundary. Their opinion is not a locked door. You are allowed to rip the box apart. Cardboard is easy to tear. The version of you they created in their mind is not your assignment, your identity, or your future. You do not have to stay small so someone else can feel comfortable standing still. If this speaks to you, please hear this clearly. You are not broken because you became independent. You are not difficult because you stopped asking the wrong people for help. You are not arrogant because you learned how to survive. You are strong because you kept finding answers. You're powerful because you refused to let disappointment be the end of your story. Use that internal strength. Use the lessons. Use the resourcefulness. Use the determination that got you through every moment when people said they would be there and were nowhere to be found. Keep learning. Keep building. Keep loving yourself enough to protect your peace. Keep becoming the version of you that makes small-minded people uncomfortable. And if they try to put you back in a box, smile, tear the cardboard open again, and keep walking forward. Your independence is not the tragedy. The tragedy is that some people underestimated what you could become when you stopped waiting for them. So keep going. There is hope ahead of you, strength inside you, and a future that does not require permission from anyone who failed to show up. You have already survived the silence, the disappointment, and the empty promises. Now, use everything you learned to build a life so full, so honest, and so free that no one else's box can ever hold you again.